Saludos a toda la afición de Lucha Libre Online. Este que les habla es Michael Morales Torres, integrante del equipo de Lucha Libre Online. Gente, y tenemos el enorme privilegio de presentarles a nuestro invitado especial en la tarde de hoy, directamente de Ontario, Canadá, para el mundo estadounidense, pero residiendo en Canadá, muy importante, parte de Violent by Design y parte de los campeones mundiales en parejas de Impact Wrestling, ex campeón triple corona, peso completo de All Japan Pro Wrestling. Joe Doering llega aquí por primera vez a Lucha Libre Online. Joe, it is an honor for us to have you here as our guest. How are you doing today, sir?
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me. Thanks, Lucha Libre Online. Awesome to be here.
Thank you for being here. And I wanted to start this interview asking you, you had a brief run in Puerto Rico. What do you recall of your early days, wrestling here for Carlos Colon Company?
Yeah, that was in my very early days of learning this business. Thank God I went there because I learned so much. I learned what not to do as much as what to do there. So, but you have to learn those lessons, right? So I look back at my time in Puerto Rico as my building blocks of my career, and I nothing but nice things to say about it.
I'll translate this briefly. Joe nos menciona que su tiempo en Puerto Rico fue excelente, tiene muchas cosas buenas que decir. Lo importante fue que aprendió sí qué debe hacer, pero qué no debe hacer en la industria. Y Puerto Rico fue para él eso, fue en sus principios de su carrera y fue un aprendizaje dentro de la industria. Over here, you had a feud with Fireblaze, who eventually evolved to the Orlando Épico Colon in WWE and in multiple companies. What do you recall of working with him and the Colon family?
It was just an honor to be working with the Colon family. Of course, their name goes back in history so long, and just to be a part of wrestling on Puerto Rico and the atmosphere and wrestling with him. We were both growing up at that. We were still very green in the business, and yeah, I'm proud of all his success and all the Colon success, and I wish them very well, and hopefully we get to have another match someday.
Joe nos menciona que obviamente espera tener otra lucha con Orlando y con el resto de los Colón, sabe del linaje familiar que tienen dentro de Puerto Rico y la industria. Ambos estaban verdes en aquel momento, fue un momento de aprendizaje, pero definitivamente fue bueno verlo crecer y convertirse también, en el caso de Orlando Colón, en una gran estrella. Traveling to Puerto Rico, it may be really easy compared to, doing it in the United States. Distances are short. You had the opportunity to see a few places, as well as where the place I live, Ponce. What do you recall of traveling in Puerto Rico, but especially, do you recall the taste of the food here?
Yeah, sure. I had the best octopus in my life in Ponce.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, at a small restaurant right on Seaside. And of course, mofongo is always great in Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah. Menciona que el mejor pulpo que se comió en su vida se lo comió en un restaurante en la playa aquí en Ponce, y obviamente, ¿quién se puede olvidar del mofongo? Joe, let's travel a little bit more in your career. You were a huge name in Japan, especially on All Japan Pro Wrestling. What do you recall of your early days in Japan, and especially, the cultural barrier, the language barrier, everything from ordering food to going outside in the streets? How tough was to adapt to Japan's lifestyle?
So right away, they had other trainees like me that were, of course, Japanese. They called them young boys. They took care of us very well. And also the higher ups took care of us all very well. As far as like ordering and going out to eat and things like that, they took care of us and they kind of did it for us. But I accepted the culture right away, and I accepted the first time I got there was like completely different. It was just an opposite world. It's amazing. I embraced it and I loved it. I still love it. The training was very difficult. I look back on some of the things we used to do, and I can't believe that I could almost do that. Running stairs and just thousands of push-ups and squats, and they made you earn it. They made you earn it. So I could talk about Japan all day, and I love it. Loved it. Loved the experience. I wouldn't be where I am now without going to Japan.
I'll translate this. Él menciona que no sería quien es hoy día sin haber pasado por Japón. En aquel momento tenían los young boys o los muchachos jóvenes japoneses que los ayudaban. Ellos se encargaban de ayudarle a pedir comida, de llevarlo a los diferentes lugares. Y los higher ups o los ejecutivos de alto nivel o alta jerarquía se encargaban de que estuvieran bien. Pero ojo, they made you earn it. Ellos te hacían trabajar fuertemente para tú ganarte ese espacio, como él decía, thousands of push-ups y de diferentes ejercicios, miles de push-ups al día, de abdominales, de diferentes cosas. Realmente te hacían trabajar. Podría estar hablando todo el día de Japón, como él dice, le encantó esa experiencia y no sería quien es hoy día sin haber pisado Japón. A huge moment for your career happened there. You won All Japan's Triple Crown Heavyweight Championship twice, but the first one should have been, you know, really special in your career. What do you recall earning that title after, you know, those thousands of push-ups, getting hit constantly because Japan style is strong? Like, you really earned it when you got it. So what do you recall that day?
That day, yeah, it was, it's hard to describe, I guess. Yeah. At that time, you know, 10 years of in the business of giving it my all, and 7 years in Japan, and you know, hundreds of tours, and it all accumulated there, and you know, it was a treasure in my life and a moment in my life I'll never forget.
Dice que obviamente llevaba 10 años en aquel momento en la industria, 7 en Japón, y trabajó fuerte para eso, un momento en su vida que nunca olvidará cuando sostuvo el campeonato triple corona peso completo de la All Japan Pro Wrestling. Let's go back in time a little bit, 2005, 2006. You had your early days on TNA. We remember you now because you were, you know, you're part of the tag team champions with Violent by Design, but your run with Impact now prior TNA goes way back. You were trained by Scott D'Amore, among many other people like Keiji Muto, for example, that put your hands on the project they call Joe Doering. But, you know, what do you recall of your early days on, you know, the old TNA?
So actually, my very first day in the business was under TNA Impact in Nashville, the original Nashville days in the fairgrounds. So I went to their training school from day one, and Scott D'Amore was the head coach. Day one was also Jerry Lynn, and Terry Taylor was also there. Those were the 3 trainers originally. I stuck with Scott D'Amore through still now. I mean, I'm still close with D'Amore to this day, and still train in his school in Windsor, Ontario. And yeah, so my very first idea of you know, being in the business was in TNA. So 15 years later, I'm back.
Really glad to see you back. I'll translate this. Él menciona que su primer día en la industria fue en TNA, fue en los antiguos Fairgrounds, en el edificio antiguo de TNA en Nashville, en Tennessee, y ahí lo entrenaban Scott D'Amore, Jerry Lynn y Terry Taylor. Eran sus entrenadores originales. Él trabajó fuerte, obviamente su memoria fue bonita, y él quería siempre esto para su carrera, así que 15 años después aproximadamente tuvo la oportunidad de regresar al primer lugar en donde él quería estar desde el inicio. You already said it. You 15 years later, you return to the place you always wanted to be. That's Impact Wrestling today. Who contacted you to come, you know, to the Impact Wrestling? What do you recall of your first day? And how different were, you know, the backstage ambience, the creative process, and the talents compared to when you started 15 years ago?
Well, again, Scott D'Amore, I keep in close contact with him throughout my whole career. So, and he's of course the executive vice president of Access TV and Impact. So he's keeps a close eye on my career, and it was time to leave Japan after all those years and start a new career here. And now I'm worldwide, not just in Japan. So that's great. The guys now are really, the locker room's very relaxed. Everyone seems to, there's no real jealousies or backstabbing, or everyone is working as a team to, you know, make the entire product better. So there's no nasty things. Yeah. It's all positive.
translate this. Él menciona que siempre ha mantenido contacto con Scott D'Amore en toda su carrera. En la respuesta anterior también mencionó que todavía entrena en Windsor, en Ontario, con Scott D'Amore, o sea que han tenido una relación bastante close, bastante tight. Una cosa lleva a la otra, llega a Impact y nuevamente hace su regreso. ¿Cómo es el ambiente backstage? Bueno, no hay nada de backstabbing, no hay nada de problemas, todo el mundo está remando en la misma dirección, todo el mundo construyendo un mismo camino, y eso es lo que ha declarado Joe, y eso ha sido también parte de la clave del éxito de Impact Wrestling actualmente. You are part of a really interested stable in the pro wrestling industry, one of the best in the world right now, and I'm talking about Violent by Design. You are working with Eric Young, Diener, and now Rhino. How do you feel having the opportunity to work with a youngster like Diener, but who has enough experience in the wrestling industry, and two veterans like Rhino and Eric Young as well?
Yeah, I try to learn anything I can off of Eric and Rhino, of course. They've been in even longer than I have. I've going on 16 years now. So Rhino's been everywhere, done it all. Eric too. And Diener is, a lot like me. He's put a lot of time into this business, and we're here to make our mark now and kick a lot of ass and, take what's ours.
Perfecto. Él menciona que llega el momento en donde ahora está el momento de tomar lo que es suyo. Está aprendiendo de Eric Young y de Rhino, ellos veteranos que han estado en todas partes del mundo. Diener, un muchacho joven también con el hambre de querer crecer, la misma visión que él. Él lleva actualmente 16 años en esta industria y todavía está buscando aprender y hacer una carrera en un mercado internacional. Como él dice, no me está viendo solamente Japón, me está viendo el mundo entero ahora mismo con Impact. And as part of that mainstream, company that everyone is watching you, the world had the opportunity to see you conquering the Impact Wrestling or the Impact Tag Team titles. How do you feel, once you had the opportunity to hold the belt?
Yeah, it's always nice to win a championship, especially, within my first year of the 6 months even of the company, so being in the company. So yeah, it's always it's a nice honor for the company to, bestow a championship on you. They know that it's a certain badge of honor, if you will.
Menciona que obviamente gana el título dentro de los primeros 6 meses en la empresa, se siente excelente, es como una medalla de honor que le ponen a él y obviamente se siente bien ganar un título, en este caso los títulos en parejas de Impact. I also want to say something else in Spanish. Impact Wrestling presenta Slammiversary el sábado 17 de julio, Slammiversary, en donde disponible para todo el mundo desde Nashville, Tennessee, pero pueden verlo a través de Fight TV o cualquier servidor de pay-per-view, no se lo pueden perder. Hay muchas luchas allí importantes que van a estar ocurriendo. Slammiversary, sábado 17 de julio en Fight TV o su proveedor de pay-per-view. También van a tener eventos el 18 y el 19 de julio. Todavía los boletos están a la venta en Eventbrite. El link les va a aparecer en la parte de abajo para poder ver Impact Wrestling en persona directamente desde Nashville 18 y 19. Van a ser 4 tapings, no se los pueden perder. En adición, Impact Wrestling presenta su programación semanal todos los jueves, disponible a través de Access TV y Twitch. Jueves a las 8 de la noche, Access TV y Twitch. No se la pueden perder. Shopimpact.com para toda la mercancía, t-shirts, memorabilia y diferentes cosas, como la camisa de Violent by Design disponible en shopimpact.com. Al igual que pueden conseguirla en la diferente memorabilia firmada, posters y diferentes cosas en la tienda de eBay de Impact Wrestling. Ahí los pueden conseguir, al igual que autógrafos de Violent by Design. As I was saying in Spanish, Saturday, you will have a huge date with life, with destiny, with everyone. Slammiversary, the fans will be returning for the first time in more than a year on Impact Wrestling. Prior to discussing the match, how do you feel having the opportunity to wrestle in front of the Impact Wrestling audience for the first time? I mean, TNA was one thing, but man, Impact audience is really wild.
Yeah, it'll be my first time to wrestle in front of them too. So I'm looking forward to it. And it's just not the same without fans. We do this for the fans, and without them, it's like it's just not the same. It's something different, and yeah, so excited to feel that emotion, to get that excitement from them. It's like nothing else. So cannot wait. July 17th, first time.
Esta es la primera vez que Joe Doering se va a estar enfrentando con público de Impact Wrestling. Esto ocurrirá el 17 de julio en Slammiversary. Se siente emocionado. No es lo mismo sin los fans. Él trabaja para ello y se siente contento de tener la oportunidad de poder trabajar por primera vez frente a los fanáticos. As we saw last Thursday, man, huge match huge match on the card. TJP and followed by Willie Mack and Rich Swann, the Good Brothers, Violent by Design, one same goal for the 4 teams. And that's what you're holding, the Impact Wrestling Tag Team titles. What can we expect from you and Violent by Design on this match?
I think you can just expect from me, destruction, lots of power, lots of fighting. I'm not the prettiest wrestler ever. I'll smash them up. And, you don't know who you're going to get with Violent by Design, whether it's me, Dean, or Rhino, or even Eric. You don't know. So we have that advantage. And I think it's going to be, like a big car crash, all 4 teams. It's going to be just a wreck on the highway.
Menciona que esta lucha es sumamente importante. ¿Por qué? Porque no sabemos qué esperar. Hay 4 integrantes de Violent by Design. Puede llegar Dinner, puede llegar Eric Young, puede llegar Rhino, puede llegar Joe Doering. ¿Quién sabe? Aquí el detalle es, lo mío no es luchar bonito, lo mío aquí es smash everyone's faces, aquí golpear la gente, destruir lo que hay en mi camino, quebrantar huesos y definitivamente llevarse la victoria para su equipo. Mr. Doering, it's been an honor for us to have you as your guest. Last but not least, what message can you send to all the fans in Latin America, in Puerto Rico, Mexico, Argentina, Chile, all around the world to watch and tune in Slammiversary this Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fight TV?
Yeah, come check it out. I'm a freight train, baby. No one wrestles like me. Come check me out. July 17th, Slammiversary. Gracias. Te quiero mucho. I love you guys. Love Puerto Rico. Love Mexico. Love you guys. Thank you for supporting Impact Wrestling. Thank you for supporting Joe Doering. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Joe Doering les agradece a todos por respaldar a Impact Wrestling. Los quiere mucho, les tiene mucho cariño al público latino, a Puerto Rico, a México, a toda Latinoamérica. Nadie lucha como Joe Doering. Échenle un ojo. Slammiversary este sábado, a través de las 8 de la noche por Fight TV. Violent by Design defiende sus títulos. No se lo pueden perder. Y este fue Joe Doering, parte de los campeones mundiales en parejas de Impact Wrestling, y Michael Morales Torres para Lucha Libre Online, la marca número 1 de Pro Wrestling y Combat Sports en español.